Welcome to Module 6. We're going to pause and we're going to reflect on our learning so far. We're going to recap and consolidate some of the things that we have been exploring around learner-centered pedagogies and project-based learning. We're going to spend some time in the first lesson just recapping some of the work that we've done. And then in the second, spending some time just capturing again some of the things that we've learned and checking back in with our KWL chart. Let's start with the first lesson, which is recapping and consolidating our principles and practice and asking that question again about what is a learner-centered pedagogy. At the beginning, we were talking about designing learning that has certain principles or characteristics. And perhaps we're moving away then from a teacher-centered approach, where it's all about the teacher controlling, to something that's maybe more to do with the learner being in control and in charge of the way that they approach their learning. For a learner-centered pedagogy, for a learner-centered approach, you might design learning that gives student choice over what they learn. You might use some of the different tool sets that we've developed over the rest of this course. You might also give students choice about how they learn, not just the what, but also the how. Handing some choice over, discussing, negotiating with a student which path they might want to take next. Another aspect we've discussed so far is how students are actually working. And we know that being able to come together in small groups is a powerful way to explore new ideas. Working collaboratively with others is a feature often of a learner-centered approach, and certainly a feature of our project-based learning as well. When you design learning that's connected to a real-world application, we're starting to think much more broadly than just the textbook and just the facts and figures that we have what's in our curriculum. We're trying to place that learning in a real world application, and it's a respectful way to say to our students, I respect your understanding. I want you to connect to a deeper purpose here. And it helps them to use what they have learned in a real way. One of the things that we've discussed is being able to spark your students' curiosity. They'll naturally have some curiosity about the world around them, and we can use provocations to support our students to think in questions, not just to jump to answers, but to think about the questions that are guiding them as well. And then I think last of all, we talk about the ideas to do with students creating and sharing an artifact that represents their learning growth. They can do that in lots of different ways, and they can maybe even make some choices themselves about how they do that. We captured that in a little diagram here. These are the principles of our learner-centered pedagogies. Focus on learning growth, lots of student choice about how and what they do, real-world applications, finding a real-world use for that topic or exploring a topic that's really relevant to those students, teamwork and collaboration, sparking interest and curiosity. These are some of the principles of learner-centered pedagogies. And you might look at those and go, oh, there's lots to do and lots to change. And each of them, we're working slightly differently. So you might focus on teamwork and collaboration with some of your lessons. And then maybe in a couple of weeks, you might turn your attention to developing choices in different ways. And we can increase the dial on these at different times in terms of our professional approach. We've also talked about our project-based learning approach. And you'll remember that we discussed beginning with a phase to do with curiosity, which is all about helping students develop questions or challenges that they could explore together. You might do that as a whole group. We talked about a creative phase where students are representing their learning, and maybe they're thinking about ways to represent their learning in different ways and different expressions. They also engage in real world problem solving. And then last of all, you recall me saying that phase around action is often one that we don't invest enough time in, and we're trying to give our students the chance to take action, real life experiences, real life applications of what they're doing, inviting audiences into the school into the classroom, to listen to their ideas, to participate in the learning experience. We can bring people the expertise who maybe need to hear their ideas into the learning experience too. These were the intentions that we had from the beginning. I'm just framing these just to finish up this lesson recap. We said from the beginning that we were trying to develop our understanding of the principles of learner-centered pedagogies. Also the principles and approach to project-based learning, having that sequence maybe across a term. We've tried to develop our mindset of a designer, trying to be creative, trying to be open to change. That's something that I hope that you've been grappling with and are feeling a little bit more comfortable with. Your skills as a learning designer are also critical and important, and you're going to be using them in the next modules to really explore some real applications of these ideas in your context, communicating your ideas, collaborating with other people. And we know that the tool set is being built. We've shared lots of ideas with you, and you've been using question builders and graphic organizers and all sorts of other different techniques. And hopefully, I do hope that the Learning Journal has been a useful kind of set of ideas that you can keep coming back to. The green bar is all about what is coming in the next module, which is going to be developing and designing your own project plan. But before we do that, in the next lesson, we're going to do a recap of our KWL reflection from the beginning.